Well, Teresa, the message was pretty clear from the governor and the mayor. They want the federal government to expedite working papers for legal asylum seekers as soon as possible. And they say, actually, this is an economic opportunity to fill some of the labor shortages we've been seeing, especially in restaurants, for example. Founder of the Union Square Hospitality Group, Danny Meyer, says he's on board and is committed to helping asylum seekers get their working rights, adding that the hospitality industry is desperate for workers and simply haven't been able to fill the vacancies in restaurants, especially since the pandemic.
There are not enough talented workers who have a heart for hospitality, who have a work ethic for all the jobs that we could make available. The hospitality industry is the largest single employer outside of government in the United States.
Right now, asylum seekers need to wait 180 days after they apply for legal asylum status, waiting in limbo and not being able to work. Some people we spoke to earlier staying at a shelter in Queens say they're just waiting for their next steps and in the meantime are getting their bearings in this new environment. One woman with a 3-month-old baby said they crossed through 5 countries to get here. Meanwhile, Mayor Adams says it's also a humanitarian issue.
It is creating an underground market where individuals could be exploited, unable to pay into our tax base, working long and difficult and dangerous jobs because they are living in the shadow of the American dream and not out front.
The city is constantly looking for new spaces to temporarily house people. Some of the options that were talked about earlier today were empty dorm rooms in CUNY and SUNY college campuses. Also a possibility, Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. For now, we're live in Bayside. Teresa, back to you. Yeah, Teresa, it's hard to imagine how the family is handling this. A few of them have been sitting outside the deli all day as people kind of come by, offer their condolences. The police, they've also been parked outside all day as they are still trying to make an arrest. Devastating and disturbing video showing the moments right before 66-year-old Rada Gurgis was shot in the head outside his son's deli on West 162nd Street and Broadway. Bullet holes still in the glass today. Police say the man was just an innocent bystander and the unintended target of a drive-by shooting. The 66-year-old had come from Egypt 3 days prior to visit his son and pregnant daughter-in-law, who had been standing just next to him when bullets started flying. She was not injured. Witnesses say the suspects took off in a dark gray SUV with a New Jersey license plate.
This type of stuff doesn't really happen over here, you know? It's a really quiet neighborhood, you know, diverse.
Francisco Marte of the Bodega and Small Business Group of New York says bodegas are often easy targets for crime. One reason, because they're ever present in our city.
It's easy also for the tough guy to be hanging around, meeting at the front of the store, and that's why even if we are not the target for the crimes, we end up being the targets and the victim of the crime.
Just last week, he and Councilwoman Amanda Septimo announced a $1 million pilot program to help with bodega security upgrades in the Bronx, Washington Heights, and Brooklyn. Meanwhile, police say they're looking for that suspect and have made no arrests yet. And Teresa, I met one of the cousins who says that they flew up from Tennessee last night. It's actually their first time even being in New York City. So, of course, as you can imagine, they're just trying to wrap their head around everything that happened here. They're making funeral arrangements. In the meantime, police are asking anyone with information to come forward. We're live in Washington Heights. Teresa, back to you. Chris, today the latest debate is over the city's right to shelter law. The mayor says the shelters here are just simply at capacity, and he's been saying that for a while now. So his office has started the court proceedings to suspend but not end New York City's right to shelter law. However, families with children, they would be unaffected. So the city's right to shelter is the 40-year-old court ruling mandating the city to provide shelter to anyone who requests it. But the mayor says since welcoming more than 70,000 asylum seekers since last year, the city shelters just simply ran out of space to house people. And so this whole move, it's causing a rift with the city council speaker, Adrienne Adams. She says the council has been mostly left out of decision-making and planning when it comes to asylum seekers. And they are actually the ones who have the authority over how to allocate money from its budget to addressing the migrant crisis. In a meeting on Tuesday, Speaker Adams, she said, quote, while the administration continues to justify agency budget cuts as a result of the cost to assist asylum seekers, the reality is that many investments missing from the budget would be solutions to the current challenges facing our city. But the mayor this morning, he is defending his decision.
Over 40 years ago, when we were dealing with 2,500 people in our shelter system, and those laws are in place. And I'm never going to do anything that is going to violate the law. And so what is taking place right now, as you know, our Corporation Council asked to go back into court and get clarity around those laws. And when you think about it, when laws were written, I don't think anyone thought about a humanitarian crisis of this proportion.
And in the meantime, the mayor and Governor Hochul have been floating different ideas of how to house asylum seekers. They've been talking about using empty dorm rooms in CUNY and SUNY schools while students are home for the summer. Chris, we'll send it back to you for now.